Oh no, not the pictures. Oh,
Her picture's always getting destroyed.
Marvel girl. Ooh.
She said, baby, be quiet.
Where's the baby? Where's the baby?
She's like,
Okay,
someone told me high-waisted pants were back in.
Yeah. The hair animation on this show is so
God, I love it. I
This
want my
is
hair
great.
to look
Oh,
like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Boobies.
Hello. Oh, my goodness. Mother, you've enhanced yourself.
She also does a Basic Instinct move later
Yeah,
where
she
she
does.
uncrosses her legs.
Oh, yeah.
She's like Batman.
That's powered up.
Mm-hmm.
That's powered up. Welcome back to the Breakroom After Show, this time for X-Men 97, Episode 3, Fire Made Flesh. Oh, that poor baby Nate Summers. What did the goo do to you? Oh, save the child. I'm Brandon Barrick, and joining me today, she is Scorn and Fury, forged in righteous brimstone. It's Jessica Clemons.
I am bad.
I know you love a villain. I know you love a villain.
I love her. She was perfect. She was everything I
my
wanted.
gosh.
And then some.
Oh my gosh, if a young Brandon had seen that on a Saturday morning cartoon, woo! Everything would be different now. And also joining us today, she once hired a stampede of buffalo to do a home makeover. It's Gina Ippolito.
My apartments never looked better.
You killed off most of the buffalo, that's true, right?
Yeah, I hired them to do a job, then they gotta go afterwards.
God damn.
And then I needed their pelts for a winter coat. Hey, what's the deal with Sinister? Why is he so bad? And will we ever see the Goblin Queen ever again? We'll get into all of that in our post-episode questions. But first, Jessica, let's do a quick recap of the episode. Kick us off with what happened in this episode.
Of course I will. Okay, we pick up right where we left off with the confusion over the two Jeans, OG Jean and the new Jean, who, spoilers, we'll only refer to as Madelyne going forward.
Deal.
Just so you guys know. Madelyne, convinced she's the real Jean, delves into OG Jean's memories, revealing her recent awakening and a lab escape. However, Beast confirms OG Jean's, like, I think Evan wrote this, and you mean
Jean's X-Men?
Jean's?
No, it's Noah. Noah wrote it.
No, it sounds like Evan wrote. Evan, I really wish you'd stop throwing Noah under the bus.
I think Jean's X-Men won the Heisman, right?
Jean's?
Jean's X-Men?
I'll take a couple of those Jeans. Okay, so original Jean's authenticity setting the stage for the same old, comic book drama that we all like. Tensions rise as Mr. Sinister makes an appearance claiming to be Madelyne's dad, who baked her. Who baked her for the sole purpose of getting knocked up by Scott.
So gross.
I mean, that's
So
not
gross.
some dads do that shit.
It's true.
They're like, I'm gonna breed a beautiful race of babies.
Put your babies in the goo.
Put your babies in the goddamn goo. Think about it.
Did Tiger Woods' dad put him in the goo to get him to be a better...
Tiger Woods
Yeah,
is absolutely
I'm gonna make you invincible with
Yeah.
goo.
I'll make you so good at golf. I'm gonna put you in the golf goo.
I need to put my
I think a young Tiger Woods was put in one of those golf ball washers and
yeah.
turned around.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
That's
for
what made him
his-
so good at golf.
and cheating.
And then he was taken to an Applebee's
Yes,
and he
that
fell in
one.
love with a waitress.
He has that one part in the brain that makes him just cheat now. And it's crazy. Okay, either way, Sinister influences Madelyne's mind and body, also disgusting, turning her evil, and she slips into something a little more comfortable. See, if that's comfortable, I don't want to know what's like.
For once, I want someone who can create clothes to be like, I'm gonna create some really comfy pajamas.
Could you imagine? I'd be like, I'm the Goblin Queen in his matching Nike tracksuit.
Yeah.
Well, and compared to the Goblin Queen in the comics, that was like a winter outfit.
Yeah.
covering most of her body.
She's just got her in the comics. It's just
It's
titty covers,
just-
and then everything else is open.
Open.
Oh my God, she's
Yeah.
the real OG. Okay, now calling herself the Goblin Queen, Madelyne attacks the X-Men with psychic illusions.
Oh my God.
Oh, my favorite part. So OG Jean psychically arrives just in time to save the day, but it's too late to stop Madelyne from kidnapping Nathan and GTFOing.
Mark that one for Noah.
No, keep it going.
Magneto galvanizes the X-Men to fight back against Mr. Sinister, and Morph leads a strike team of Magneto, Cyclops, and Bishop to Mr. Sinister's lair. They arrive just as Mr. Sinister dips Nathan into a vat of green Nickelodeon tech goop that will make him invulnerable. But also, if you take him out too early, he's a little underbaked.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
He's underbaked and full of plague.
Oh, goodness.
After Madelyne full party wipes the X-Men, OG Jean once again psychically arrives to save the day, triggering a series of flashbacks of her and Madelyne's memories. Who's are who? In the flashbacks, we see the day Charles recruited young Jean. She's holding her little baby Cyclops doll that she had from the original series.
Cute.
They flash back to the birth of Nathan, which reminds Madelyne that she loves Nathan and had a genuine connection with Scott. Madelyne and Scott work together to fight off Mr. Sinister and reclaim their spawn.
Spawn.
Oh, why'd you read Spawn?
It's a baby. It's a puling spawn. However, Nathan, he's got that Nickelodeon goop virus. He's stuck with it. We saw it's the same kind of techno virus we saw in the 90s.
Yeah.
A very similar thing.
But apparently advanced.
This is a big MacGuffin for mutants everywhere, right? This is going to do them in someday. Madelyne suggests Bishop's timeline may hold a cure in the future somewhere. And in a moment that's like hilarious, if totally on character, lack of self-awareness for good old slim Scott Summers, he says he doesn't want to abandon Nathan because his father, Corsair, abandoned him and then immediately storms out of the room, abandoning Nathan. He says, I can't abandon him, but I cannot be here for this. Okay, good move. Anyways, with Madelyne's blessing, Bishop bops the child into the future, and I'm sure we'll never hear from him ever again. Madelyne and OG Jean reconcile as they both admit they don't know whose memories are whose, and when Mr. Sinister swapped them out. What a mystery. Madelyne decides to leave the X-Men as she wants to start living her own life. And have some downtime and do whatever she wants. She doesn't have to be an X-Men anymore.
She's gonna start baking her own bread.
Yeah, she can make her own bread.
Yeah, baking her own babies.
Yeah. Never get a baby monitor ever again.
Oh my God.
OG Jean decides to stick around though. There's this kind of like pensive moment when her and Scott are back together in that room that got wrecked.
Yeah.
And they don't say anything. They just kind of look at each other for a second.
Should we have sex?
Should we? You kind of cheated on me, but not your fault?
Yeah.
MacGuffin? I don't know.
It's still her.
Yeah.
It
was her.
Ain't cheating if it's still you.
Yeah, it was you, babe.
Baby,
it was you.
Baby,
it was a clone of you.
Baby, it was clone of you, baby. Baby, I still love you.
Baby, you knew where the towels were. I assumed it was you.
It was you, baby. Are you gonna clean this house now?
Yeah. You know, the other you said you'd give me $10,000. I don't know if you're on the hook for that. I don't know.
I didn't know Scott turned into Cat Williams so quick.
Scott starts telling all the dirty X-Men secrets. Let me tell you who did what in the X-Men.
Let me tell you, I thought it was Morph the whole time. And I'm glad it was just a clone and not Morph. There we go.
Poor Morph.
Poor Morph. And a final teaser, that wasn't the end of the episode. Forge approaches Storm in a Texas bar named Tequila Mockingbird. Adorable. Mockingbird. Tequila Mockingbird. Like To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah,
like,
we get it.
You get it?
Yeah,
Evan,
we get
really
it.
Get it. I had to spell it out for Evan.
Oh my God.
It's also a reference.
I can't believe I missed that.
Gen Z Evan didn't get it, dude.
I'm not, well, that's a different discussion.
Not yet, you're not. Storm runs into Forge in a Texas bar, and Forge is there to restore what was lost to her. He knows what's up.
And it's young, sexy Forge. In the original, we saw both versions, but mostly the old version.
Because it was implied
in the future.
Bishop was taking Nathan to Forge in the future.
Yeah, but he's old in the future.
Right.
In the present, at least in the original series, he was the head of X-Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something's up, and he already knows what's up with Storm. I mean, it happened on international television.
And she got on a bus as herself.
Yeah.
And just
they're like, Forge is like, hey, everyone was talking about the fact that you were on a bus. You're very recognizable.
When she was in that bar, not a single person was like,
Yeah. Did I just see you get shot on TV?
girl.
Before we get into our questions today, what were some of your favorite moments from the episode? Who's got a favorite moment they wanna jump into?
Oh, by far, my favorite moment is when everyone is seeing their horrible nightmares, and then Beast opens the elevator, and this Miyazaki creature is like, and Beast just goes, "Oh my, one of us got off on the wrong floor." And I was like, everyone else is like having like psychological damage, and he's like, "Oh, hello, I'm gonna make a little joke."
I feel like at some point I'm gonna get so tired of Beast in those jokes.
No!
Because as soon as he said that in the elevator, I was like, yo, friends are literally reliving their horrors.
I mean, to be fair, Beast is like kind of 0 for 2 right now, where he's like, I'm sorry, Storm, this is permanent.
Yeah, that's what I I was thinking the same
And then he
thing.
gets the baby and he's like, there's nothing I can do for this baby.
He's practical.
Maybe send it
He's
to the
practical.
future.
At the end of this episode, though, I straight up was like, wow, Beast, is there something you can fucking do? Because I'm getting kind of irritated now. We got a baby dying, you can't do it, you can't reverse Storm back. Someone else is probably gonna reverse
He
Storm
can
back.
make literary references at the wrong moment.
He goes, oh, one of us is on the wrong. He's holding a bunch of like maps too. What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah. No, I love it.
He fixed the time armband, but Bishop can only take him and a baby.
Yeah, it wasn't fully
It's not
finished.
fixed.
There's something comforting about that one friend who, no matter how bad shit is, could just be like, I'm gonna make a joke though. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Jubilee. We're gonna have to cut off both of your legs. That's the only solution I have. As the best doctor here. Okay, that was your favorite.
Yeah, my
Jessica?
favorite moment clearly made everyone hate Beast.
No, he's very lovable. He said stars and garters. He said the word.
My favorite scene also came from that part, but my favorite scene, which is not good at all. It's not like a favorite scene. It's more so like, oh, remember, is Morph's horrible moment of like tragedy, and then also being like, we're in hell, and then completely throwing them in like a fake hell.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh yeah, a lot of people, I guess, that are just starting to watch this are probably forgetting where Morph started and how Morph is literally traumatized.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is like a very horrible moment for poor Morph, who was lured with like naked Wolverine in the shower.
He spent the entire original series really mentally messed up. So now he's like finally gotten over it, and then all of a sudden Sinister's like, I'm back, and he's like, ugh. All right, we're all in hell. Let's get used to it.
And doesn't Sinister say something as Wolverine, like, we know who you are?
Yeah.
Like, we know you can stop hiding. Which is it's so crazy because this scene reminded me so much of New Mutants and how they're straight up, the movie, how they're straight up in a ward for the little kids. And what's her name?
Danielle
Moonstar?
Is it Moonstar? Yeah, how she's making all of them live their worst nightmares, and those worst nightmares have like ties to magic, being abused as a child. And I was like, oh my god, we're doing this again. Like, stop putting me in this. I don't want to see this. It was horrible.
Yeah. I did like too when Morph, when he's going, we were talking about this before we shot, but like when Morph is going through the training, the danger room schedule, and like Magneto and Rogue have it like booked out, like
No, he was
multiple
making
hours
them
at a time.
see that.
Was he making them see?
Yeah.
Was that like part of? Did his hand like become the board?
I don't think he made him see it. I think he put it in.
He put it in himself.
As jokes,
yeah.
he put it in private because he's probably the one that books it out.
Yeah.
because
Yes.
I know. Damn
And Wolverine
well
even
Garrett's not
says, like,
doing
it doesn't say that, and you know that they wouldn't be
You put
stupid
his
enough
hush
to
puppies
put...
into his stomach.
Yeah, they wouldn't be stupid enough to, like, schedule their sex
true.
for
Well, I
everyone
don't know,
to see.
you know. He's an old man.
And then
Gotta put on
Wolverine,
the
what did he
schedule.
say? He said, beignets are in his stomach
His
now.
hush puppies are in his
His
stomach.
hush puppies are in his stomach.
His hush puppies are in his stomach. My favorite part was just like, I mean, the battle sequence have been so good on this show.
Oh, so good.
But like Magneto and Goblin Queen like fighting, and he makes the metal, and then she like moves the glass, and there's that moment where she like throws him down, and it's like
Yeah.
raining
And
the
you
like
see his
rainbow
nipples.
And you
glass.
see his
And then you
nip.
see his
It's a
nipples.
beautiful chest.
He's got a
that's
side
too
nip.
big.
Just like, I mean, the fight sequences in this show have been so on point.
It would
So
have
on
been,
point.
I mean, I understand we couldn't see it, but it would have been great to see Storm go against the Goblin Queen.
Well, maybe we will see that. I don't know.
Maybe. Especially because Madelyne Pryor's like, Storm would have believed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that was a
oh,
great.
I love that, and I want Madelyne and Storm to just.
I love it. I mean, I'm on her side, right? I'm on Madelyne's side because like the second this crazy lady shows up and they're like, oh, we gotta take care of it, and Beast runs his test, which was. That was a fun twist to be like, that's the real Jean.
Yeah,
She's
but,
older.
Here's the thing, and I was telling Brandon this before. Because I've gone back and watched it now, and in the original series, there's a moment where Bishop comes back from the future, and he says one of the X-Men is the assassin, and Scott very confidently, with the confidence of the leader of the X-Men, says, well, it's not me, and it's certainly not Jean. And Jean's like, hold up, bitch, it might be me. You don't know.
I could be an
I could
assassin.
be an assassin. I have some dark shit.
does
So the
become-
fact that like Madelyne Pryor is so sure that she's the real Jean is very un-Jean. Because if it was really Jean, she would be like, there's no way to know who the clone is.
Yeah.
I could be the clone and I wouldn't know if I had her memories. Jean was always very logical about that stuff. So the fact that Madelyne Pryor's like, fuck you, I'm the real one. It's like, you're the fake one because you're so sure.
I think I would have just been like, oh, even if you're a fake one, you're still my wife, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're still my wife. There's the only thing is that like at one point someone's gonna flip a switch, which is what we should be worried of.
Right.
To
Yeah,
be fair.
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
also like, Scott, settle down. At the end of the day, it's still
I don't think Scott wanted that baby from the jump.
He was
now
like,
it's
hey,
taking the baby in the future.
this
Oh,
makes
that's
sense.
okay.
This
all makes sense. Let's hear Beast out. He's the best doctor we got.
Beast was like, don't wear a condom. Okay, so there is a lot to talk about here, a lot of questions. When would have Sinister swapped Jean Grey? You kind of mentioned that we had like a weird Jean already.
Yeah.
Was it around that time that like...
She was kidnapped a bunch during the original series.
She was kidnapped a bunch during the original series, specifically by Sinister, by the Nasty Boys. I think it has to have been since Charles left, because I think Charles would have sensed something was weird. I think he would have at some point, like, and also in the original, there's a lot made of the fact that like what pulls Jean back from sort of like being Dark Phoenix is her psychic love connection with Scott. So I think that whole Dark Phoenix had to be real Jean. And I think Sinister had to have been like, oh, Charles is gone? Let's kidnap her now so he doesn't know. Otherwise, Charles would be like, bleh, clone brain.
I completely agree. I think I do thoroughly agree with that. But do you think there's a world in which he's not really even trying to check her brain because he trusts Jean?
Yeah.
Because he's just like, oh, nothing's wrong with her. She's fine. Because I think he still makes mistakes.
Yeah.
He still misses things. I mean, in the comics, the Madelyne Pryor story happens a little differently than it played out in this show. And one thing that happens in the comics is that I believe Professor X can't connect with like Madelyne Pryor. There's like a block or something.
Yeah.
And that kind of alerts him that like something's up here. Something weird going on. So it's not that I think he's like always checking. I think he just might notice like, oh, I'm getting a weird dead sound.
He's
from
like,
this area
Jean,
of
what
the
do you
room.
want to eat for dinner? What?
Just
Weird.
checking in. We usually do this. Nobody knows.
Why are you there?
Yeah.
Was there? When did? Was there episodes after Xavier died?
No, it was the last
just the
one.
last
Yeah.
episode.
So some time has passed.
Yeah, but there was one episode during the Dark Phoenix saga where like Charles is like astral blasted from his body, and then he has like an evil astral clone whose mind is really clouded, and he's like, oh, my mind is so clouded. So maybe it was then. I think it would be hilarious if they did it before Scott and Jean got married, because that would make two weddings. Because the first one was fake because Morph was the priest and he can't really marry them, and he's like, I'm not
Anyone can marry anyone. Don't tell me.
You don't.
Don't tell me.
No
like,
way Morph went online and was like, I'm gonna get
you don't
ordained.
have to do that. That's a whole other thing.
Sometimes you do. Watching the
Depends on the
X-Men
state,
world,
I guess.
they're gonna be like, can I see your ID? And
What are the
Morph's
rules
like,
in New York?
It's like written in crayon.
Morph just makes an ID with his hand.
Yeah, he's like, don't try and touch it. It's definitely not part of
ticklish.
me.
My ID's ticklish.
Oh my god, dear lord.
In the comics, though, like Jean Grey dies, or the Phoenix Force kills, and Jean Grey is like gone.
And Chris
She's dead.
Claremont intended for her to stay dead.
Right.
And then it was just it was never supposed to be a clone of Madelyne Pryor. It was just supposed to be like a lady that looked like Jean. And Scott was like, horny, you look like my ex-dead wife.
Because, Sinister had created Madelyne Pryor to be a Jean Grey clone so that he could make Nathan, blah, 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 blah. She didn't work, though. Like, her powers didn't manifest. So, like, Sinister was like, well, this was a wash. And left her in a tube. And then Phoenix Force dies and, like, tries to give Jean's soul back.
Yeah.
Jean doesn't want it, and it goes to Madelyne Pryor. Madelyne Pryor wakes up. Scott's missing Jean. He meets this woman that looks a lot like Jean.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to marry this lady. And they get married. They have a kid and all that stuff.
Jean comes back to life,
comes back
and
and
Scott's
he's
like,
like,
bye.
bye.
I'm leaving you
Madelyne
and my
Pryor
baby.
starts banging Alex, Havoc, basically.
Yeah, because she still wants that Summers
kid.
D.
Yeah.
She's gotten used to Summers D.
Yeah.
So that world can't happen here in the animated
I
series?
don't think they're going to go down that road so much.
Not Havoc, but like that room, how we ended it with them just standing at each other. Do you think they're going to try making the relationship work?
Yeah, I think this will kind of be like a reset for Jean and Scott. I think this will allow the kind of Wolverine of it all to come into view.
Yeah.
I did like how they addressed that in this episode with Wolverine, trying to like calm her down. She looks into his mind. She sees how long he's loved her. And then immediately when Scott pops in, she's like, get the fuck out of here,
Wolverine thought he was going to get a shot at that spare.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to get that spare.
Yeah.
It was insane. That was an insane situation of like, that's how much you mean to me?
Yeah.
Like, why even say it? And then be like, oh, Scott!
Oh, my man!
Oh!
Get out of here, you stinky hairy man!
Oh, get the fuck away!
You're so
You know
short.
what she
Oh
should
my
have
God.
said to Madelyne at the end? Like, listen, you can stay at the mansion. There's a dude who really wants to bang me.
Yeah.
You could just slip right in there.
The funny thing was Madelyne was like, nah, I'm sick and tired of this.
Yeah.
As soon as she became the Goblin Queen, she said, you know what? I hate it here.
She wanted out long before. That's another way you know it's not Jean, because Madelyne is like, Scott,
Yeah, we
let's
gotta
go.
leave.
And Scott's
Yeah.
like, no, I don't want to. But real Jean would be like, yeah, all right, let's stay.
We gotta stay.
She pulled rank too, which I really like. I was one of the first X-Men.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hope
dare
she
you.
does hook up with Havoc. Last time we saw Havoc, he was hooking up with Moira McTaggart. I hope Madelyne Pryor shows up and is like, me? Me?
I think Madelyne and Sinister should make it work somehow. Hey,
Ew.
His little sharp little teeth.
I like
He's
his little clicking noise.
In
Like,
the middle of the night, he's gonna be like picking at her and be like, "Can I use some of your skin?"
I'm going to keep all your
He was,
fingernails, Madelyne.
he was married to Jean Grey's ancestor when he was human. That's
okay.
how all this started. His wife was
when
sick.
he was Nathaniel Essex.
Essex, yeah. His
That's
wife
crazy.
was sick, and he was like, I gotta make you better by experimenting on mental patients.
Jean, don't flush that toilet. I gotta keep all that piss. Madelyne, yes.
I gotta keep all that pee.
I need it for my collection.
How hot is it?
I'm making a chimera of piss.
I'm gonna put a baby in that piss later.
But yeah, there's the goo. Put the baby in it.
Put the baby in it.
It's
I mean, there
half,
was a
half
second.
piss, half Mountain Dew.
There was a second where you let's go with that baby. I'm like, can the baby breathe the goo?
I thought
Are
it
we
was.
gonna-
I thought we
baby
watched the
seemed
baby
pretty-
get drowned.
I mean, that baby seemed happy in that goo.
Yeah.
That baby was like, yeah, right. And it was also, that diaper must have been so waterlogged.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we want to thank some of our sponsors for today. Miracle Made is one of today's sponsors for the video, and Evan swears by their sheets, and he swears on their sheets. Your temperature has a huge impact on how well you sleep, and Miracle Made sheets use silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA. They make temperature-regulating bedding that lets you sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. I like a nice, crisp 86 degrees.
What?
That silver-infused fabric I mentioned a moment ago, do you remember? Well, it prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth. Bacteria can clog your pores, I knew that, causing breakouts and acne, and nobody wants to sleep in that grossness. It's like a vat full of Mr. Sinister's goo. With Miracle Made sheets, your sheets can stay fresh and clean 3 times longer than other sheets. They're also luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. It's like sleeping in a 5-star hotel at home, only you have to clean up the room in the morning. Go to trymiracle.com/breakroom to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code BREAKROOM at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. That's 2 for you, 1 for someone else. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/breakroom and use the code BREAKROOM to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/breakroom to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
And honestly, that thing about the hotel is true. When I put the sheets on and I got into bed, I was like, ooh, it does feel like I'm at a hotel, even though I'm in my own room.
Yeah, you slacked me your room service order, and I said, you're not in a hotel, Evan.
Yeah, I was like, that's weird.
I was like, I guess I'm not getting that burger until tomorrow.
Evan said, where's my damn mint on my pillow, Brandon?
I ate it. I ate your mint.
Oh my God. Speaking of mints and Sinister. This asks for Jelly Bean Planet. Easter is right around the corner, you guys.
I love it.
What's your favorite part about Easter?
Peeps. No, I probably shouldn't say that. I should say Jelly Bean Planet. Jelly Bean.
I was hoping you would say
Yeah.
that, because that's what I was going to say.
My mom used to get me an Easter basket every year, well into adulthood, and I loved it.
Oh, yeah. I used to get a nice new Christian rock CD every Easter.
Oh, my
I'm not
God.
joking. Newsboys, DC Talk, Stars of
Newsboys.
Clay.
Did none of you guys just have a normal Easter where your mom put jelly beans in the eggs?
That would have been nice, but Christ was all up in my Easter.
Well, God, Jesus Christ. Well, Jelly Bean Planet, which you can grab from our sponsor, Jelly Bean Planet. I said that twice. They've got so many different containers, like the 8-ounce triangular one. Where is it? Right here. Boop, boop, boop,
Look at the
boop, boop.
triangle.
And the Papa Bean. Get the Papa Bean one, Brandon.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Pizza Papa. Nah, Papa Bean.
You gotta eat it.
Ooh. Popped a bean, I'm sweating. As well as the big jars that we've seen on the break room before. These are the ones that I keep eating. So
Yeah,
if you
we're really
see,
starting to churn through these bad boys.
it's an addiction that we have.
42.5 ounces.
This is, I think I've ate majority of this one. I siphoned through these. We love eating the jelly beans, natural flavors, plant-based colors, no GMO, no gelatin, no gluten, no palm oil. This is all great for you. Go to our exclusive link below and use code 15NW Rockstar to get 15% off, well, 42.5
Yeah.
42.5?
It's a lot of beans.
You know how many ounces that is?
That's 42.5.
That's a 42.5 ounce jar of jelly beans at Jelly Bean Planet today. God damn.
Gosh dang. And of course, be sure to check out nerdriot.shop. Grabbing some merch is the best way to support the channel, and there's tons of great designs on there right now. Keep an eye out for some Breakroom merch coming soon. We also got our Xavier Institute collection going on right now. You can pretend like you go to a school for gifted youngsters that sometimes is taken over by the Goblin Queen, and now you're in hell. But that's right. Check it all out at nerdriot.shop.
Crushed it.
Okay, I have a question for you. Let's talk about Madelyne Pryor, aka the Goblin Queen, and like that kind of whole story. We were talking about it a little bit. So in the comics, Sinister's attempt at a Jean Grey clone only works because the Phoenix Force death shares Jean's consciousness with the clone. It comes to life. Comics are crazy. Madelyne lives a whole life before she even gets involved. Then she gets married to Scott. They have a kid. All that kind of stuff happens, right?
Or would you say Madelyne lives a life prior to Scott?
I mean, yeah, it's true.
Evan's clapping now because he couldn't get the To Kill a Mockingbird one.
Sinister in the comics, I believe, gives her the name Madelyne Pryor, and Pryor as like a joke. To your prior existence as Jean Grey. I'm Mr. Sinister. I'm so silly.
What's the joke with Madelyne?
I don't know. I think he likes to eat Madelynes, maybe.
Yeah, he's like, but I'm gonna spell it a little sassily.
I just read about an adorable, precocious youngster in Paris. That's why I named you Madelyne Pryor. I'm Nathaniel Essex. I watched trains get invented. What do we think the future holds for Madelyne Pryor in this series? This is not the last of Madelyne Pryor.
I told you
right?
she's gonna get some Scott Summers Brothers D.
Okay, you think she's gonna go for Havoc now?
I mean, hopefully.
I mean, part of the comics with the Goblin Queen aspect is she kind of gets involved with like the dark dimension and like the odd world or whatever it's called. So they kind of skipped over that and just went straight to like, well, you know, Mr. Sinister made her a little kooky. She's got the darkness in her, and she calls herself the Goblin Queen, and
I bet
manifests like demons, basically.
I bet she's not gonna be back this season because we know that they already wrote season 2.
Right? Yeah.
I bet she's gonna be back in season 2. I bet there's gonna be some like big bad that they need to defeat, and it's gonna look like the X-Men are almost beaten. And then there's gonna be a second Jean-looking bitch coming in.
Who is this second Jean-looking bitch? Get her out of here.
I mean, are we gonna get like a moment in the series where there's just like 12 Jean Greys, one from the future,
Christ.
one from a different dimension?
Yeah,
you know, like, all that
Sinister's
kind of
like,
stuff.
I'm multiplicitying her.
I mean, that's the thing with Sinister. He makes many clones, clones of himself.
This was his first successful one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, at least in this series.
Okay.
If he just keeps making the same one, it would just destroy the entire planet. They would just implode, right?
Too many genes.
Yeah.
Too many genes.
I think she's probably, if she does make a cameo again in the rest of the season, it's probably going to be like when Storm gets her powers, comes back,
right.
And Jean's going to be like, oh my God, did you know there was a clone of me? And she's going to be like, where's the clone? And they're going to be like, we all ostracized her because she was the clone. and Storm is the only one that will go check in on her.
Yeah,
and it will rekindle that friendship. Because Storm will still be friends with everybody in the house, but she's also still like, we fought with her. She was one of us for a moment, and she's fine now.
She had her baby go to the future, and you guys were just like, sure, bye.
Cool
and you guys just let her walk away.
And that baby was the one thing that brought her back to reality, basically.
Yeah. There goes gravity.
When how dare you? When OG Jean is like, hey, remember your love for Nathan? She's like, yeah, right, I do love this baby that's in the goo now.
Now she's not going to have anything to bring her back from the brink if she goes crazy again. And they're going to be like, remember your baby? And she'll be like, no, he's like a 6'5" mutant from the future now.
He's got too many pockets.
But she said all that entire speech into the baby's head, so when Cable grows older, he's going to come back and be like, you're not the right one.
Yeah.
My mom left the memory in my head.
Yeah.
You're not that one. It feels kind of crazy to just like have that woman end the show just being like, yeah, after I turned to the Goblin Queen, I hate this place. Right. And I'm going to walk away and never come back.
And then she like walks down the road like she's what? She's going to like hitchhike?
There's at least a bus. We know that much.
Unlike Storm,
she
was like,
didn't ask anyone for a ride.
Yeah.
Like no one in the house was like, hey, do you need a ride to the train station? Like Beast wasn't like, I can literally we have 80 cars in the garage.
I don't think you want Beast driving your car.
Beast
I haven't been in an automobile since the Model T.
He's not old-timey.
Well, he's kind of old-timey, I guess.
Yes, Evan.
I think in the comics, part of Madelyne's desire to leave is implanted in her from Sinister. So it's like easier for her to take for him to take the child, right, once they have it. So like, do you think that she's going to find her way back to Sinister because of this? Do you think there's like more implanted in her? Or
I bet it's going to be like Better Call Saul. We're going to see her working at a Cinnabon. And like, she's going to be like, remember when I had all this power and now, and like, there's going to be like a kid that's like, that's not enough icing. And she's going to be like, oh, fuck me. Okay,
I used to be Jean
Or should we run the drive-thru and through the radio she hears, it's me, your daddy.
Yeah.
I baked another bread for you, and you're like,
I think she is going to start like dissecting herself and being like, what did this man do to me? Like,
I mean,
why
I
am I a clone?
when the genes were battling kind of on the I don't know if we'll call it the astral plane. I don't know.
Seems like it was,
They were doing some battling and
psychic battle.
Yeah, the result is like Madelyne's kind of sinister crystal like appearing and then shattering. Right?
Yeah.
And I took that to be like, he's out of her head. Like,
yeah,
completely.
but even after they took that little green worm out of Morph's head that he was using, Morph was still like, oh, I'm all messed up about stuff. So I think she's going to be messed up for a while.
Oh, I think that's
I
fair.
could see Morph going and talking to Madelyne Pryor.
Oh, yeah.
And being like, yeah, this man trapped me for a very long time and abused me. You're not conscious of all of it, but I feel like we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
And it'll be nice to see someone like that on the team now that Storm's not there right now, of just like, not acceptance, but like accepting other mutants no matter what they are.
Right.
Because it's like, it was nice seeing Storm be the first one to be like, yeah, Magneto is willing to change. Let's allow him in. And then I'm like, no one else would have. We need someone, we need a voice of reason person. And maybe that's Morph.
I hope Morph goes to her and he's like, I can pretend to be Scott.
Right.
You want to play house?
Let's go fight. Let's go fight somewhere.
We do have the last 3 episodes of this season 1 do feel like there's some big thing that's going to happen because their descriptions that they released of the episodes were very sparse. It's possible she comes back by the end of the season, but I hope they save her for like
I hope they
season
save
2.
her. Make us all
Don't bring
forget
her back
about
to-
her,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like someone gets, like Jean gets killed and everyone's like, no, oh my God. And then the real Jean shows up and she's like, psych, that's my body double. They pull a Star Wars. They're like, oh, Queen Amidala.
They pull a Padme.
Yeah.
Padme fake out. I mean, I would love to see something, in the comics, Madelyne Pryor is able to kind of manipulate the X-Men to fight the X-Force and kind of trying to make against each other. I could see her being like, you know what, I'm not cool with all of this situation and I'm still upset. And I'm going to come get some revenge. I do appreciate that the Jeans kind of worked it out. And OG Jean was willing to be magnanimous enough to be like, we don't know whose memories are whose.
Yeah.
Well, let's just be ourselves.
Madelyne
and
was
not worry
pissed
about
though
it.
when she walked away. She was like, yeah okay, thanks. I'm going to go catch a bus since no one offered
My
me a
baby's in the
ride.
future. I know that's my memory.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Why don't you get the hell out of here?
Christ.
Oh, well.
Real quick, Evan popping in here to say we want to take a quick second to thank our sponsor, Kalshi. Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the U.S. where you can bet on any event, which for us means Rotten Tomato scores. Furiosa's new trailer is out, for instance, and that's fueling speculation on whether or not the Rotten Tomato score will be above 90. You can buy shares on either side of it. As earlier reviews come in, the prices will fluctuate. So if the share price for above 90 is up to 75 cents or something before opening weekend and you sell, you'll get 75 cents. It's kind of like fantasy football, only for the entertainment industry. It's super fun and you can make some money doing it. Right now, I've got some money on whether or not The Acolyte is going to be a big hit with critics. I think it's going to hit above 90 Rotten Tomatoes, so, get your odds in while you can. Kalshi is the only place you can bet on Rotten Tomato scores in all 50 states, but it's got a ton of different markets, not just Rotten Tomatoes. There's also markets on politics, music, climate, economics, tech, games, and more. You can sign up by going to kalshi.com/breakroom, and the first 500 traders will get a free $20 credit. Thanks, Kalshi, for sponsoring this episode. Back to you guys.
Let's talk about Baby Nathan. What did the goo do to the baby Nathan?
Baby neat.
I think that's why, I think why Cable's probably so strong, right?
Yeah.
Like, because he got half gooed.
And in the future, Cable hates what he's become, right? So it's like,
I think
everyone hates the future, right? Because
Yeah.
it's bad. They keep trying to change it. It never works.
But he's got like a good, like he's got a kid, he's got a wife, he's doing fine. He's just constantly fighting.
yeah.
yeah, it's true.
He's constantly fighting Apocalypse and Apocalypse's forces, so I bet he wishes he could have like stayed in. He does at some point say like, oh, you guys like messed up. Oh, that's in the movie when he's like, you guys fucked up the planet, so now I gotta live in this terrible planet.
I mean, it's kind of true. It's like the decisions that are made before his time. We know Cable appeared in the original animated series, like in the 90s. Him and Scott interacted, but there wasn't like an acknowledgement of their roles. Though you've pointed out that Cable, it's hinted that Cable knows the history of Scott and now Madelyne.
Yeah, there's two moments that in hindsight were probably super confusing to people who watched the original, which was Cable into his computer is like, computer, tell me what you know about the X-Men. And then they're like, oh, Wolverine does this. Cyclops does this. And he's like, I know all about Cyclops and Jean Grey. Move on. And then there's another episode where Jean Grey's like, who's this weirdo from the future? Let me look inside his mind. Why does it look like I'm his mama? And then it's never explained. And she's just like, it can't be. But they don't say what she's seeing, and then they never go back to it. So when I was watching it, I was probably like, what's happening?
That doesn't contradict at all what could still potentially happen.
Oh, yeah.
Jean could be like, I'm not your mom.
Yeah.
And then be confused and be like, maybe it was during the time I was out. I was
You want to look up the Goblin King.
Timeline-wise, this would happen before all of this happens.
So this has already happened.
Yeah.
They've met Cable, and they don't. Maybe Jean knows that Nathan turns out to be Cable, but this whole situation was messy, so I'm not gonna talk about it right now.
Would Cable have been a mutant regardless?
Well, I mean, there's no guarantee
You
that
mean before the goo or
Before the goo.
Oh
the
yeah,
goo.
he was. That's why he can survive the goo.
Oh,
he's
okay.
still a pretty I think he still would have been a pretty powerful mutant because his parents come from the DNA of two of the most powerful mutants. But I think the goo was supposed to make him Sinister can't be destroyed. So the only thing that can even hurt him is blasts from Cyclops. So I think he was doing to Nathan basically he was like, all right, you're gonna live through a plague, you're gonna do this, you're gonna be invulnerable so no one can hurt you.
Oh, okay.
And the X-Men just took him out of the oven too soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
More baking analogies.
Yeah.
This is a souffle that hadn't had time to rise. Yes.
Do we think that Madelyne's goodbye message to Cable or to baby Nathan has changed Cable's future?
Oh, okay.
That's a good question.
Yeah, because Bishop is
Or
always
did it always happen?
Bishop
that
made
way?
the point of the future's not written, it's always changing.
Yeah,
it's always
I think he's still gonna be
mercenary.
Yeah, I think he's still gonna have that rough exterior because he still doesn't have parents, and I doubt
Yeah.
Bishop was there to be like, hey, I can stand by and be a parent.
Yeah.
So I still think he has that rough exterior. He's also probably still gonna feel, because it's still genetics, abandoned by Scott.
Oh, yeah.
He got a message from his mom.
The Summers
And the
have
mom-
a long line of abandonment going back.
Yeah.
So it's
A
genetically,
lot of genetic trauma.
Yeah, genetically, it's gonna keep going down.
Right.
He's still gonna be mad about it, and I think he'll still become who he is. But he'll just remember I do have a mom.
Yeah.
She just had to push me into this universe, I guess.
She should have also been and when you're old enough, go to therapy and start journaling.
She did sound a little too cryptic with her messages, and I was like, I'm imagining growing as Cable, and I'm like, okay, when I'm 5 years old, I'm not gonna understand a thing you just said.
Yeah.
And then when I'm 10, I'm gonna be like, why did you just leave me? What did you want?
That's gonna be that's gotta be a weird thing when you're 13, you're hanging out with your friends, you'll be like, hey, all your moms implanted a psychic thing in your head, right? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's well, I just know that all about my parents because they psychically implanted this thing in my head.
It won't
You guys
turn
don't
off.
have that? Doesn't
It's
happen to
insane.
you?
Yeah.
It plays 24/7. I'm going crazy.
You guys all write a Mother's Day card to your past mother who was a clone of another woman, right?
Yeah.
That was a clone. of
No,
another.
you just send her
You guys don't do
flowers? Okay.
Happy Clone Mother's Day.
X-Men Letters to Mother's Past.
Oh, dude. I'd read that book.
Same.
Now that we've seen Bishop take Nathan Cable to the future to become Cable, do you think that means we'll see Bishop again this season? We'll see Cable, dope Nathan Summers come back this season? I think Bishop's got a good chance of coming back.
Why was Bishop? Did Bishop accidentally just show up? How was
No,
his entrance?
he's usually coming back to fix something, to fix the future. But he's also always trying to get back to his timeline. And Beast is working on his time band because it's not working properly. I always took it to be he comes back initially in the early series to fix something, and then is always having trouble getting back to the right time.
Yeah, the
His time's always
last
changing.
time we saw him in the original series, he was in the Axis of Time, which is basically it's created by a variant of Kang. It's a place outside of time and space. Bishop gets stuck there when he's trying to get back to his own time, and then there's this crazy dude who turns out to be a variant of Kang, who's ha ha, hoo hoo, hee hee.
Hey man, you stuck in time? Me too, brother.
And now you know how if you watch that compared to Jonathan Majors' performance and you thought Jonathan Majors was crazy, this guy's oh, I've been here for 1,000 years. And then he's
Hey buddy, you can poop wherever you want. Yeah, it's time. No one told me any different.
But then when the axis of time was like set right again, Bishop was like sort of went back to his own time, but maybe he didn't. Maybe he got stuck a little.
Do you think there's a way that he could come back? Do you think he'd come back if he was like, or maybe the introduction of him coming back is like, my time's fucked. I had to come back here. I have to fix it. My sister.
I like the idea that he's just like coming back for a dinner invite.
That's why I'm
like he's like, hey, Taco Tuesday.
He's like, I hated my world, so I came back here.
Guys, tacos are extinct in 2055. So
I'm living in that world. I'm living in that world.
2055, I better start eating tacos. I only got so much time left.
Time enough at last for tacos.
Okay, well, Bishop hopefully will come back.
I think they're both coming back.
I think it'll be very indicative next episode if Bishop's in the opening credits or not, because they've done a good job swapping in and out the main players in the opening credits.
We still got a lot of characters to get to.
Yeah.
That's why I think he wouldn't come back, is because there's so many people.
But no matter what, I think he's going to come back in season 2.
Yeah.
By season 2, I think he'll be back.
Yeah.
Also, there needs to be... Every season in the original, they had a time travel story.
Right.
So there needs to be a little bit of a time travel story in this beyond just like sending a goo baby to the future.
Perfect.
Listen, you got a goo baby? This is the best way to get rid of it. Send it to the future. It's the future's problem now. The Tomorrow War. We all remember that movie.
Send me your goo babies. 1-800-GOO-BABIES. We got goo babies coming out our ears.
Hey, did you have a baby with a clone that looked just like your partner? And now you got a baby who was dipped in goo and it's got green stuff all over it? Send it to me. I'm in the future. I'll take your goo baby right off your hand.
Stop saying goo baby. People are just going to talk about sperm.
You can leave a mental message and it's mine so that it knows that you still love it when you send it to the future. It's not its goo that you don't like. It's the fact that it's a baby that you had with a clone.
I like the idea. It's like, we deal with too much overpopulation. Send your baby into the future.
We need your goo babies.
What part of the future is it going into? Don't worry.
Don't worry. It's perfectly fine. We don't have tacos anymore.
We send it with Bishop. Bishop, I'm so tired.
They carved an M on my face because I'm a mutant.
They carved an M on my face. Goddamn. Morph.
What about old Morph?
Morph continues to be the most interesting character, says me and Evan.
Very interesting character.
I love Morph. I'm obsessed with Morph, especially from seeing last season. I just think they're very funny, and also just, which is weird to say, the most human out of all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Wolverine said in the original, he goes, he was the only one that could make me laugh.
Gina, you and Wolverine are too close.
Well, Morph,
I love him.
Morph was the only one that showed up to console Wolverine there at the end when everyone's like, when Storm went away. Morph showed up for Wolverine and threw him some beer and some chips.
He knows what that man wants.
Who went to Beast? Because
went
all
to
of them
Beast?
went to like relationship people.
Beast went to his books.
Yeah.
of
Beast
course.
went to
My
be
bad.
like, man, I don't know anything about medicine and I can't fix any of the problems
They
around
keep
here.
putting me in medicine, and I don't know what I'm doing.
I've got to stop wearing this lab coat.
I was a drama major at Rutgers.
I turned myself blue. Why do they keep trusting me?
I was a drama major at Rutgers, and they think I'm a scientist now.
My feet are huge. I do agree that Morph's a lot of fun. And I've seen some complain, they're like, oh, Morph is just like a cameo machine.
Like
so we
he
can have
was in the
cameos on the show.
in the
And
original.
that's a great thing because I don't need these actual characters showing up and having to explain everything. I just see it for 2 seconds.
They can do the fact that it's not really the character means that they can have any character show up, and Marvel can't get mad and can't gatekeep.
Yeah.
Like they can't be like, oh, you can't show Doctor Strange
Right.
because he's about to be in this. It's Morph. They're
Morph.
not real. So have Morph be every single, which they sort of did in the original. Morph was Deadpool at one point. Morph was Omega Red. Make Morph every character at some point.
Morph as like sassy, pregnant Jean Grey,
Oh,
Madelyne Pryor,
great.
Talking shit to Wolverine was
loved
great.
it.
Was so good.
I'm having a baby with the most boring man alive.
Where's the lie? I also like that it they knew if they're making this for kids too, they're just like, yeah, it's fun for kids and adults can battle it out and see whether or not Morph saw this person ever in the original series. So it's like negging the adults like us into it, and children just think it's cute and fun.
Yeah.
It works.
Well, as Evan pointed out in this episode, Morph turns into Ilyana Rasputin, aka
Ilyana!
Magic, who has the Soul Sword. And I think Morph kind of became Dark Child too. The like kind of powered up version of Magic when she kind of takes on her like demonic persona.
Yeah.
Now, Ileana did show up in the animated series back in the 90s. She's Colossus's younger sister. But at that time, she was just Ileana, not Magic. She was much younger.
She was like 9 years old, yeah.
So what's going on here? I mean, I guess Ileana has become Magic and Morph met her at some point.
At some point between the original and... Yeah.
Or I guess if like Professor X is able to use Cerebro to download a mutant's essence and put it into the war room...
He saw it.
Morph could copy whatever they see in the war room.
Or maybe Bishop might have come back and been like, here's a list of
list.
all future mutants.
Or the writers just thought it was fun. But because we're in our jobs, and I might be completely wrong on this. The last time I saw Magic was New Mutants. They can go into their own kind of wormhole, correct?
Magic can
Could it be something similar to what Mr. Sinister does? And so at one point, Morph saw that Mr. Sinister, because I don't know that much about Magic, but if the New Mutants is any kind of tell of anything, if she was being poked and prodded, is there a connection that it could have been through Mr. Sinister at one point?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, maybe when Mr. Sinister invaded Morph's mind, he like showed him all this stuff.
Yeah, I wonder too if Morph's mimicking abilities, if it's just like a DNA thing, like because we know Sinister's always collecting DNA. If at some point Sinister injected like his DNA catalog into Morph, and Morph's like, I never met this crazy lady, but here's one I got in the back of my brain.
Morph was trying to get out, so I could see that like that tether connection. There's gonna be a world in which one day Mr. Sinister is gonna meet like not a match, but someone that can exhaust him, and I feel like that could be Morph. That could have been Morph when he was when Mr. Sinister was going into their brain.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he like deep down in that tether, maybe it's like, oh, here's the people that Mr. Sinister has touched and horribly.
This is definitely not the end of Sinister on this series. I think they've the execs have kind of indicated he's going to be a big player on the show.
100.
He was always him and Apocalypse were like always the big bads.
Always returning back to them. Yeah.
So I think this is not the end of Sinister. He faded into the darkness.
Yeah.
Disappeared.
I love that, like, it was clear that they disappeared, and then Madelyne went, where did he go?
Where did he go?
I was like, Madelyne, you just literally abducted and killed almost everybody on the X-Men, and then you didn't see this man cast himself into the shadows?
Sinister will be back. I would love for Morph to have like a good showdown with Sinister and get a little revenge.
Shoot him in the
Yeah, I don't know what I mean. Sinister was always like a little bit of afraid of Apocalypse, so I don't know. Maybe Morph can morph into Apocalypse at some point and be like, "Boo, got you."
Look at you. You flinched. That means I win. Okay, as we do on every episode of the After Show, each week we're gonna name the student of the week. So that's anyone who appeared on the series this week. Who is your student of the week for this week's episode 3?
My student of the week, I think, is a very obvious student. It's Madelyne Pryor.
Yeah.
Baddie extraordinaire. Great little, you know what? I am wrong. Let me just walk away from this.
You know what?
Went full circle.
That's on me. This is all on me.
If there is that, what is it? The like, went full, like, she just was, it went from like guilt, depression, sadness.
Oh, she went through the 5 stages.
Yeah, the 5 stages. She went through them so quick, was like, baby, I love you. And then peaced out. She's Madelyne Pryor.
Yeah. I'm going to go live my life now. I'm going to go get a new Social Security card that says Madelyne Pryor. What about you, Gina? Who's your student of the week?
You know what? I'm gonna go for the man who always keeps it light and tight, Beast.
Oh no.
The
worst
The person that did it. Absolutely nothing.
I can't fix this,
Listen,
baby.
I feel like that would be me. If all of a sudden Miyazaki creatures started to appear around me and everyone in this office was freaking out, I would grab a granola bar and I'd be like, ooh, looks like we got a new freelance writer around here.
What is... First off, stop it. Secondly, we didn't talk about that, but does that say something that all of them had like such horrible, dire fears, and then literally Beast
is
was
like
just
living his fear, right? He wanted to be accepted as a normal person.
Was that
and
the bit of the
it turned
joke?
himself even more into a beast, right?
Yeah.
And like he lives his nightmare.
I think he's just the most emotionally healthy.
Yeah.
So I think he probably is in regular therapy.
Yeah.
The only time we ever saw him lose his cool in the original was when he was in love with the blind woman, and then he cured her blindness, and then he realized they couldn't be together because the Friends of Humanity kept going after her.
Sure.
And then he was like, no, I want to be normal. But then like by next episode, he was like, my therapist and I talked through it. I've been journaling.
Yeah.
So I think that he's the most mentally resilient, and like
That
the
makes
Miyazaki
sense.
creatures were like, what do we do? Hi,
Yeah.
I'm on an elevator. And he's
Sinister
like,
was
what
like-
part of this is terrifying?
Sinister was like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this guy. Sorry, Brandon, go.
Look at my tongue. Look at my tongue.
I'm on the wrong floor.
Whoopsie doopsie.
Here's
I'll
all my
take the
maps.
next one.
I don't have what the tongue monster's having.
Hold the door. Actually, don't. I think I'm torn on my student of the week. You know, I really got a kick out of Magneto and Rogue rolling back in after the hellscape, being like, Cyclops status report. Status report. You missed it, my dude.
Status report. Stop fucking Rogue.
Yeah. And because of that, I kind of want to give my flowers to Gambit, who I don't always love. I think he's a bit of a
love
simp
him.
sometimes. But you know, he got shown his worst nightmare. It was pretty heavy for him. Rogue's definitely kind of playing him a little bit right now. But even when she came back and she was like, I should have been here, I'm sorry. He's like, it's all right. It's all
Yeah,
good.
he was
He's
literally
playing it chill right now.
He
And
took the time to flirt a little.
he's gonna pop off at some point, and I know it's not gonna be good, but today he really handled it well. He handled it with a plum, and I will give him his flowers this week. Good job, Gambit. Also, I'd like to point out we're in episode 3, and my gold Jubilee has not been given the chance to shine.
She's a little
Hey!
She's hanging out with Sunspot.
I-
You remember
listen,
Sunspot was
that
in this
dance
episode?
The dance was great.
Was great when
But
she was
I
like, "You want to
want-
see some fucking dancing?
I
Shades
want
down."
to see her
Bloop,
really
bloop,
pop
bloopity
off.
bloop.
I want to see her fight. I want to see her go. Okay, I'm ready for it. Let's let her have her moment. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
She needs to show him the forecast.
She needs to show him the forecast.
Just pew pew.
She needs to pull a little. I'm bringing the party to you, and like, just make it happen. Just make it happen.
It's funny how like all of their outfits are like, yeah, this makes sense. Hers is so 80s.
So
it is
80s.
like
I love
even when she pulled down the shades and did fireworks, I was like, girl, change
Because
that
the
fit.
late 80s looks like the early 90s. You know?
Yeah.
But
There's
we're in the
it's not
late 90s. We're in 97.
Well, but you know, we pick our generation and we stay there.
Okay, I'm just saying that Storm got a mohawk and changed up her outfit.
That's fine.
I know.
You know
I
what?
do not.
What
You
did it get
cannot.
her?
You cannot change Jubilee.
No, do not
That
change
is her
Jubilee.
outfit.
You can grow her hair out a little bit. That's
I
it.
hope she has
That's
a
it.
closet full of those yellow trenches.
Can't wait for Sunspot to be like, let me get your threads up.
Yeah.
And then she's going to be wearing.
You know how much it costs to
Straight
get your name on your earrings? Like, she's
I
not
wanna-
going to change her
Not a
look.
lot.
I want to know
What?
because
What?
everything he is wearing is clearly very expensive. How come his jacket doesn't burn up?
I don't think he got fireproof because he didn't want anyone to know about the solar power.
Yeah.
Right? He was like,
He's like
just give me a
Scotch guarding
normal
it.
jacket, please.
Normal jacket. Well, that's it for us today. We want to thank Noah Chen for writing today's recap and help us get through this episode. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel on YouTube and give us a follow on Twitch where we do these videos live. Jessica, give them the forecast.
To me, my X-Men. Wait, what did you want me to say?
I don't know. That was perfect.
That was great.
That was perfect.
I was gonna do the monologue, but then I forgot. She said, like, take these creatures back to what? What did she say about the? Oh, we don't know it by
The
heart.
sands
yet.
of time.
The
Use
sands
your
of-
power to take these creatures back.
I
don't
will
know.
memorize it, and then when I come for the 4th episode, I will
Okay.
recite
Yes.
it.
We'll do it.
And you have to say, set me up.
We
again.
should have a Storm monologue off.
Should we all? We should all get. Listen, you've got a Jubilee outfit. You've got a
Okay.
Storm wig. I've got a Rogue outfit. We should make this
should do
shit
it.
happen.
We should do it. I'm gonna make a Magneto outfit now, though. The new
No.
Magneto.
You gotta
Don't
get
ruin
jacked.
this for
You gotta
me.
get jacked, and you gotta get bigger nipples.
No, I'm not getting jacked. That's like an.
I don't know what size your nipples
You
are.
never said
either,
no to
so-
the bigger nipple part.
I don't think they can get any bigger. Make sure to follow at Breakroom on all social channels: Instagram, Twitter, X, Threads. Give us a follow on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch. All that good stuff. We'll catch you next time on the Breakroom After Show. Late SKS. Goodbye, my stars and garters.